In a 1031 exchange, the relinquished property is typically conveyed directly from the taxpayer or exchangor to the buyer. That's called direct deeding, because the taxpayer deeds the property directly to the buyer. Now, in order to avail yourself of direct deeding, you need to have assigned the rights in the sale contract for the relinquished property to your intermediary. In the olden days, the taxpayer would actually physically convey the relinquished property to the intermediary, and then the intermediary would deed it to the buyer. But that extra recording was cumbersome and unnecessary, so the IRS allowed for direct deeding, but they extracted the concession. They said you still have to assign the rights in the sales contract to the intermediary, and further, you have to give notice to any other parties to that contract. You need to give them notice that you've assigned your rights to the intermediary. Thus, we often have a notice of assignment that will be signed by the buyer of the relinquished property, as well as any assignees or other parties. The same goes for the replacement property. The seller of the replacement property will typically deed the property directly to the taxpayer that's doing the exchange. And the taxpayer doing the exchange will assign to the intermediary their rights in the purchase agreement for the replacement property. Again, we have to give notice to the seller, as well as any other parties to that contract, that the exchanger is assigning their rights to the intermediary. The prudent thing to do is to get something signed by the other parties, an acknowledgement stating, yes, I received this notice. It's a very benign acknowledgement, but we just want to have that for our records in case we're ever audited, so that we can show we gave the requisite notice to the proper parties.